Good evening, legends. Matt here for another chat with Matt. And we're testing some new tech tonight, so just bear with me if I'm a little bit slow moving some stuff around. But pumped to be talking to Josh Perizzolo tonight. And Josh, the last time I spoke with JP, he'd just won Australia's Toughest Mudder back in October of 2019. And he was actually the very first chat with Matt that I ever did. So it'd been a little while since we caught up. I'm keen to see how he's been keeping himself busy through 2020. So I'll bring him on screen here. Josh, how are you, man?
Hey, how you going?
Good, buddy. Good. Mate, is that text all good for you there?
Yeah, I can. It's all good, mate. Yeah.
Perfect. So, mate, thanks for taking the time to chat with me. And pretty late at night too. What have you been up to today?
Just day at work, mate, and did some training this morning and whatever. But as I said, second time around, I think you might be scraping the barrel, mate, if we're coming on again.
Nah, man. I don't think it's scraping the barrel at all. You've had one of the most questions asked out of any chat that I've done.
Because I've got a lot of friends that put some questionable things in there, I think. So I'm a bit scared to see what comes out, I reckon.
Yeah. Well, there's some pretty good questions to get through. I did just bring a link on screen, which I didn't mean to, that said, join me live on this link. Do not click on that, because that's the link that I was supposed to send to Josh. So we are testing some new tech tonight. Usually when I do the live streaming, and you'd remember this from last time, Josh, we call on Skype. So I've sort of got the interface where I can see what's going on, whereas you can't see anything. You can just see the video chat, right? So with this new software that we're using, you can now see the comments that people are commenting as well. So I thought
we just can't see who they are. Like, I've just got Facebook user, whatever. I can't say who it is, but
yeah, I'm just gonna try and fix that once I work out how to. But there should be a way that guys can log in, so that we can bring people's comments on screen and bring their display pictures, which for some reason it isn't doing. But hopefully we can rectify that.
Well, I can have a reasonable guess at who that comment's from, I reckon. Anyway.
Right. I'll what I can do, man, I'll run I'll just open the live stream on another browser. Hopefully I've got enough bandwidth for it, and then I can bring them up. So this could be a complete shit fight, guys. So thanks for joining us. And here, Cam's on screen. Cam's worked it out. Testing. Cam, whatever you did, tell all the others to do it as well.
Yeah.
And then we'll be sweet. Hopefully there's a I'm hoping, like the old software that I used, there was a link and you just clicked on and then you could like log into it, and then we could bring your pretty faces on screen. So everyone do that. But mate, you said you just worked today. For anyone who doesn't know, what do you do?
So I'm a PDHPE teacher in the lovely town of Deniliquin, right down near the Vic border at the moment. So that's Cam's saying he's dropping 500 burpees already, so that's good.
Already.
So PDHPE teachers, that keeps me pretty busy. I do a bit of coaching on the side as well. Not too many people, just something to keep my toes in the water. So I do a bit of that, and that keeps me busy enough.
And is that face-to-face coaching or online coaching down in Deniliquin?
Online stuff. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Anyone in particular, OCR or?
Just mainly a couple of people working towards a couple of half marathons and marathons. Got someone trained up for UTA if it goes ahead this year. someone was looking at doing Gold Coast Marathon, and we did a virtual version of that. So yeah, just people working towards some events, and just through word of mouth, family and friends and that sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. And someone's just said 2 of the most beautiful people I've ever seen. Oh,
Yeah,
but we don't know who it is. It's anonymous.
They're all having a dip there.
Some anonymous love coming in the text line.
Yeah.
Cam 500 burpees. We've got heaps of people live, heaps of people saying testing. Sam Marshall, I know I've got a question coming from him. Dom's live from the bedroom in the other side of the house, which is nice. Mark, let's get straight into a question. Just wondering who your electricity provider is and are you happy with your rates?
Well, I am. Mark's from Dinnilocken as well, so you know, he can probably have a dip about the electricity provider here. Maybe I need to change my light bulbs. Who knows? I don't have the beautiful setup that Matt Moore does with his specialized streaming cameras and stuff. You know, no bells and whistles here, just the basic stuff. You know,
you got all you need.
Just all I need. Yeah.
At least we got out of infrared.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. We had a little issue where I was looking like a black and white demon there for a second. So
yeah, so we're all good. Heaps of people jumping on. Donna's live. Sean Campbell's just giving some lovely hard eyes there. Which
yeah, that's one of my boys.
Yeah, I know Sean. I've seen him around. He commented that under the post in Spartans of Australia too. So a lot of love for you there.
Yeah,
what's that?
Yeah, so Sean, Cam, and I, we've got a bit of a bromance at the moment. We've got so we just met through Spartan Race, and we've done a few training weekends, and we throw a bit of daily banter at each other, which is good. So yeah.
Perfect. It's a good community for that. Your
absolutely
your cousin Cassie's on with Adam. Sean Campbell's here, sending it every day. William James looking trim. I don't know if he's looking trim, mate. He's talking about one of us. I think he's talking about you.
Yeah, hopefully.
Live as well. Andrew's live. Darren Burgess is live. And somebody who will remain anonymous said, "Do you need some peanut M&Ms, mate?"
Look, can we ever have too many peanut M&Ms? That's the question. So, you know, 2 years ago at Enduro, that was what I was craving, and craved them every day since, I reckon. So, you know,
somebody asked a peanut question. Have you had enough peanut M&Ms? I think I forgot to copy paste it in. I can't remember where that came. Somebody must have just DM'd it to me.
Yeah, right.
Is that your go-to at Enduro?
I just have a whole heap of everything, mate. So peanut M&M's good. Like, it's got the chocolate and the bit of the peanut there for some fuel, and particularly when all that really sugary stuff goes, you know, you don't want to have it anymore. It's just something a bit different. So yeah, that's usually the go-to. And, you know, I have some different things, and I think we chatted last time about some changing up the fuel and that throughout the race and whatever, but just whatever you can get in, you know.
Yeah, Deanna said the same thing last week. You know, another amazing endurance racer said that when she comes in, her pit crew just have like a platter with different stuff, and there might be chocolate and berries, and she just, whatever the body feels like, you'll just
absolutely. And thanks for bringing me on after, you know, the week after Australian obstacle course royalty. Like, we have the epitome up here, and then I think we're just lowering expectations so that next week, you know, it seems reasonable.
I've got some interesting people coming up too. I like chatting to you, man. It's good. It's good banter. You're at the top of podiums as well, mate. You won.
Not quite the top. Not quite the top. I'm sneaking on.
You won Australia's toughest.
Yeah. Although this year, I was thinking about it today. So I've got a 50% podium at Spartan Race this year. 1 from 2. That's, you know.
Perfect. Was that Oberon?
Yeah, so Oberon, and then we had the stadium at the start of the year, which was obviously hotly contested. So
yeah, that was a quick race, man. I was on that finish line when Mackenzie and Who was it? Came tripping over the line.
Wooly.
Chris. Wooly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was
just
lightning fast. Yeah.
Man, plenty of comments coming in. Giles Scott's here, says Lightning Josh. Hey, mate. Matty Price
Yeah, I've been
says,
keeping up with Juzzy on Strava. He's pumping out some miles as well.
He's another quick dude.
Juzzy.
Yeah. Matty Probe says, how good is Josh Perizzolo? Very good.
I reckon Matt's my biggest fan. He gives me some love on the Spartan Race Australia page all the time.
Yeah. He's very active in the OCR community. I reckon he engages under every one of my posts too. He's one of my clients too. Just joined the team. Just got his jersey.
Yeah, and he's smashing out a heap of virtual stuff too, which is good to see some people do.
On that assault bike, man.
Your
assault bike's going to need new bearings soon, Matty.
He's wearing it out.
Yeah. Cassie says MnMs and noodles. It's the go. Robbie Cardillo's here, the Spartan tradie. How are you, man? I'm up in Queensland now, Robbie. We'll have to go for a run or a walk. Maybe a walk. Mikey Groom's here. Sorry, dude. I'm just trying to get through all these comments. There's so many people here.
They're just coming in thick and fast, mate.
Yeah. Somebody who's an anonymous Facebook user says, haha, why am I anonymous? I'm your Enduro pit mum. Damn it. Why won't you be my mate? Jay Pez. Who's Jay Pez?
That would be...
Oh, you're Jay Pez.
Yeah, that'd be Rena, wouldn't it? Have to be Rena.
I don't know. Yeah. I think it's maybe your settings are on private, Rena, or I don't know, because some people are coming through anonymous, some people aren't.
Or
maybe,
it might be... Oh, yeah, I don't know. I was going to say it might be if they're on, like, not on our friends list or something. Maybe, I don't know.
Could be. I don't know. It's it's the first time using this tech, so I haven't worked out the in and outs. But I think this is a little bit better when you can see the comments.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure.
This is a little more fun. I thought, you know what, there's going to be some banter, so I'd rather you see it. Then we don't have to play Chinese whispers.
Yeah, very good.
Plenty of people live. Marcus is live. Chris Bridges. Hi from the Goldie. Josh's. Holly and Ella say hi.
Yep, so that's some of my family on the Gold Coast, mate. I've got family all the way up the coast.
Beautiful. Are they racers?
No, but doing a bit of fitness stuff up there, like a bit of boot camp stuff and whatever. So
sweet.
Come along to support me at one of the Goldie races, and I think we agreed to do one this year up there. So we might see if we can drag them along in November. We'll see how it goes.
Awesome. It's going to be a big event. Have you got anything? Like, have you planned out what you're going to do there?
I've not planned anything because I don't want to be let down at the moment. So, I mean, taking it week by week, and if I can make it and it's on, I'll be there. But if not, see what happens. That's the thing at the moment.
I think that's a good way to go. I think, look, it's if you do leave at last minute, you're not going to have a problem getting accommodation up here. I think the hotels are at like 7% occupancy up on the Gold Coast where I am, which is pretty sad. Where it is in Broad, like I live at Broadbeach now, and it's like a big tourist area, and it's just dead, man. We go out for dinner and there's fucking no one here. It's a ghost town.
Yeah,
it's so sad. Hopefully we're back to it by then. Matty Probe says the number one fan. Aaron Hodgson, who's the guy who runs Raw down in
yeah, I know Aaron. He's the one that looked after me when I had that fall. So,
how's the chin after the quarter pipe? So, you are in the first lap of the 12-hour enduro 2019.
Yeah. So I think we chatted. I think we chatted after that, and we did chat about that potentially. And so what had happened? Like, obviously, you kick off at 6 a.m. or something, like first light of the morning. When we got round to the quarter pipe, it was just really slick from all the dew. So I've gone to run up and my foot slipped forward, which has thrown me off balance. And then I've come down and smacked my chin on the bottom of the pipe. And I think I got 6 stitches in the bottom of my chin. And I'd played a soccer match 3 weeks before and got a concussion as well. So I reconcussed myself and then spent 8 hours in hospital.
Fantastic.
Yeah. And then I made it back to the finish line to see Lockie Danzy and Liam McKenzie finish within, I think it was 10 seconds of each other over a 12-hour race.
Yeah, I ran over the finish line like around the same time that they did.
Yeah.
I was not moving as fast as they were, but But yeah, that was an amazing race too. And the benefit for you smashing your face was none of us had to do the half pipe for the rest of the race.
That's right. So I was the ultimate sacrifice. So everyone should thank me for
that. we appreciate what you do, Josh. It was, yeah. And hopefully we can get some events happening at Raw soon. Does OMR
it's just all up in there.
Sam's just asked, does OMR accept the H&A loyalty card? What's a
So the
H&A loyalty card?
Hamish and Andy loyalty card. Yeah. So it's the card that Stores Love gives you 10% off, but then you get 10% back straight away. So it's like the deal you can't turn down.
Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it. Yeah, we can honour that, Sam. Send me a DM. Lisa Bridges says, hi, Josh.
That's my mum. Mum's always got it. Mum's my big. Actually, I'm sorry to let Matt Probes down, but I think Mum's my biggest fan. So,
you're the number
got to
2.
give her the brownie points there. Yeah.
Yes. Hi, Mum. And Mikey Groom says, isn't this like testing race fuel on race day? Surely a professional would test his equipment before such an important interview. Yes. Surely a professional would do that, Mikey. I just thought I'd throw shit in and see what happens. I did do a little test.
And this is truly accurate of this interview at the moment, because we just make it up as we go. So that's perfect. That's fine.
Correct. I did actually write some
and look at all these happy people commenting. They're fine.
Right. I think it's going all right. Nothing's caught fire yet.
Yeah. Well, let's get some of these questions, because I'm really interested to see, what some people want to know from me.
There was some funny fucking questions that come in the IG line, and we will actually talk about obstacle racing eventually. But Dom's just said, click this link. It will grant Facebook permission to see comments. If you are anonymous and you don't want to stay anonymous, click that link, and that you should be able to log into the app, and then we'll be able to see you. Or if you just want to take the piss, stay anonymous, because that's fun too. Kara's here. She says, hey, Josh. Aaron Hodgson says, you were hard to hold back from continuing on. And it was a dream finish at that event. So how have you been keeping busy this year, man?
Well, sort of, it was right on when Oberon was on that, things went a bit pear-shaped. And from there, we've basically been in isolation, lockdown. No one's seen anyone done anything, So obviously we had the challenges with teaching where students were learning from home, and there was that sort of stuff, and learning the ropes to teach online and stuff. In terms of training, the gym here obviously shut, but my training was largely uninterrupted, because I had, enough gear of my own to just, change what I was doing. And I still had, acres of forest here to run through, and I had my bike and stuff. So yeah, I wasn't really affected that much. It's just the fact that we couldn't travel, and it's been quite interesting, because I found I thought it would be harder to stay sort of motivated, for want of a better term, to train while there's no events on the horizon. But, if obviously things are dialed back a bit. I think I was running between sort of 80 and 100 Ks a week there for a bit. So I was doing a fair bit of running when I had some time on my hands. But it was just, a lot of people obviously struggled and dropped off the bandwagon a bit. But from what I can see, people have still been ticking along. And then I'm sure when an event comes closer, people are really gearing up. Like we can see with Gold Coast coming up in November, people are starting to get a bit excited, which is good, but also a bit of a concern if it drops off the radar too. But yeah, I've been on the bike a bit. I've been on the indoor trainer a little bit, doing a bit of running, still strength training, just doing a bit of variety really, which has been good. Yeah,
cool, man. Are you still getting Zwifty? Are you still on the Zwift?
Yeah, so I actually bought a trainer. I bought a trainer in February just to build some more volume without running some more. And my major goal this year was to go to World's Toughest Mudder in the US. So, that was the big goal for this year, and that obviously got turned upside down. But then turns out, because of COVID, all trainers basically across Australia sold out and that sort of thing. So it was actually good that I got one when I got one.
Yeah. I did the same thing. Dominica and I bought bikes, mountain bikes, in like February. I think it was just before Oberon. We both went and got kitted up, and then a month later they did like a year's worth of bike sales in a month all around the country, and everything was fucking sold out. Couldn't get shit anyway.
Yeah. It's mental.
Yeah, and I think a lot of the companies that supply all the gear, like, they're starting to get on top of stuff now, which is good. And you sort of said something along the lines there, or in the middle there, that you stayed pretty motivated, you stayed pretty on track, and I think when your why is strong enough, nothing gets in your way, right?
Yeah, that's right. I think it might have been a couple of weeks ago on the Spartan Race Australia page, someone posted about, I can't find motivation. You know what I mean? And I put my 2 cents worth in, which I always do, whether it's taking the piss or not, I always chuck something in. But
yeah.
And I think Ball had a bit of a go on there too, just saying that, like, motivation won't find you. And it's like, motivation's more of a product than something that you can find. You know what I mean? Like, if you be consistent with your training, you see improvement, then that leads to motivation, rather than you sitting there waiting for it. So I think, for some people at the moment, just consistency, like, just get out and do something. Doesn't matter what it is. Doesn't matter if it's not as hard as you'd normally train. Just do stuff, whether it's a virtual race, whether it's exercising with friends, which everybody loves the home workouts at the moment. Probably a bit too much, but do something. That's the main thing, I reckon.
Yeah, just staying consistent, keeping those habits in place, even if it's not the what you'd really like to be doing. At least you can always replace it with better stuff later when the gym's open, or circumstances get a little bit better. I think it's been hard, like, for obstacle races, and from a perspective of a coach. One of the things that I do, if somebody comes to me and says, I want to get in shape, or I want to, I've got these goals, this certain thing that I want to do. I want to build muscle, or I want to lose fat. Before obstacle racing, for me, it was always like, all right, we have to set a goal. What's something that we're going to work towards? If there's no goal, there's nothing you can progress towards, then if you're just sort of going through the fucking motions, when something like 2020 comes along, you're going to lose your steam, right? And I think, obstacle racing is an amazing goal construct. Like, if you can get somebody to agree to a race, it's timely, it's on a certain date, you know what you've got to do, you can always step up and challenge yourself, and there's progression, it's social, you've paid for it, there's skin in the game. Like, it's just such a good goal construct. And when all the events got cancelled, like, I had a shitload of clients who were just like, what do we fucking do now? And it's been a little bit tough. It's been really good to see the online community band together and doing all these online virtual events. It's been really, really interesting. I haven't seen that affect the athletes, like the guys who are the guys who are competing, the real competitors. They fucking train rain, hail, or shine, right? They're just they're living the life. But
and as I said, like, it might not be your usual training time, or might not want to be training at your absolute potential, but given 2 months to prep for a race, the base is there to build and get race specific, and tune up and that sort of thing. So rather than building from nothing. So that's sort of what I was saying. Like, I can't see any races at the moment. Righto, in a month's time it's on. Like, at the moment, we've got Gold Coast in November, which is still a couple of months away. So if people have been putting in the time, well, we just jump into an 8-week block leading into a race, and you should be race ready. Whereas if you're just starting now, and you want to be competitive, you're really going to struggle.
Yeah, agreed. Natalie Hood says, nice one, guys. What's been going on, Matt? Haven't seen you for a while. Mikey Groom saying, hot off the press, Josh, you can come and visit me at World's Toughest next year.
We might want to.
Looks like he wants to.
Is he?
What's that?
Or he's going to be over there by the looks. Tell him he can pit crew for me. I'm looking for a pit crew over there.
There you go. Mikey, you can pit crew for him. Is that going to be in Atlanta again?
I'm not actually sure. Like I don't think they've fully locked it in because they don't know what they're doing at the moment. But the thing is, like next year, we don't even know whether we can travel or whatever either. So, like I think our enduro next year is the thing. So 6th and 7th of March, that's probably the next, which they put a thing up today.
Yeah, so all the Spartans in the US have got cancelled like a while ago for 2020, but Canada just cancelled today.
Yeah, right.
Everything for 2020, so it's a bit far there. We're actually doing better here. Motivation is seeing Matt Moore's pineapple shorts. I don't know. Is that if I'm coming like behind you and you see me coming, it makes you run faster, or
I don't know.
I don't know.
Who knows?
Could be anything. Hunty's here. He says, "How can I get a chiseled jaw like Pezzo?" How do you get a chiseled jaw, Pezzo?
I think Brendan's past it, isn't he? He's too old. I think it's game over.
You've passed your prime, Brendan. You had a
I think
chance
from the age of 26 we start to die, apparently.
Right.
So our body cells don't replenish at the same rate. So I think Hunty's further along than me. So I reckon he's on the downhill.
How old are you, JP?
29.
29. I'm 32.
Yeah. I reckon Hunty's about that, isn't he?
Yeah, I think so, actually. I think he turned 32 this year.
He's pretty close.
We've got a couple of questions coming from Hunty. Jade was on Spartan Race today, the Insta. They put the picture of her like flipping over the wall like a ninja. That's good.
I didn't say that.
Out at Burns. Hunty said, "Do you tape all 3 of your nipples during races?"
No, just the left one. I'll just stick with the left one. Yeah.
Is there a reason for that?
No, I just think he's taking the piss. So I don't tape anything.
They actually sell fucking nipple tape. I see Maxi from Barefoot Inc. I must be like deep in his fucking advertising because I see his ads every day. And they sell like nippies, I think it's called. It's like a nipple tape. So people do it. Have you seen the pictures?
Well, I don't know. What are these people wearing? Like, are they wearing shirts made of sandpaper? Because I've never had any of that problem.
Yeah, I don't know. And I've worn some fucking questionable things on a race course, and I've never bled from my nipples, which it does happen. It does happen to runners. I've seen heaps of pictures on Google, like Google bleeding nipples. You might see what we're talking about, or you might see some other weird shit. But like marathon runners, like they finish and there's just like blood through their shirt, right?
Yeah, I don't advise Googling that. You'll get some very questionable results.
The government's already watching me for the shit that I Google. Like 100%. I Google because I like Photoshop my mates into stitch ups and stuff all the time. And I've Googled some weird fucking shit over the years. I'm definitely on a watch list. But I got to work in with Children's Check without a problem. So maybe I'm not that bad. Do you wax or shave your party line? Says Hunty.
That's top secret, I think.
Top secret.
We can't disclose that. You got to remember, I am a teacher as well, which Brendan is familiar with because he's a teacher, so I've got to be careful.
Some of the kids might be watching. No kids should be watching.
Probably not. Streams. Probably not. They wouldn't be able to. They don't care enough to watch, maybe. I don't know.
Nat saying, please video Gold Coast. Us in Melbourne will be so jealous. Look, there's a long time between now and then. Hopefully we're all good. Andrew Nobbs says, speaking of the enduro, we'll be doing my first 24-hour next year. What advice can you give to a first timer? Pezzo, you've done, mate. How many 24 enduros have you done?
I think 4 or 5. 4, maybe 4. So I don't know if Andrew sort of heard our last chat, but so my first enduro, I was meant to do it with a mate. He pulled out on me, or he got shin splints 2 weeks out. I tried to do it on my own, underprepared. I ended up 11 and a half hours in, borderline hypothermic, and then I just had to stop. Otherwise, I would have been in a bad way. So I'll just, like, the mistakes I made was I didn't prepare enough. So I hadn't done enough training. Granted, I did do my half, I thought, for that, because I was meant to do it in a team of 2. And then I think just having enough gear as well. So, like, I didn't have a full wetsuit. I didn't have strong enough gloves. I didn't prepare for all conditions. Granted, I think it was like -5 or something that year, so it was really cold. But I wasn't prepared enough for the conditions. So over prepare, and then you'll have something for every condition. That's what I would do. Yeah. And like, that over preparation is the same with, so your training, your nutrition, your gear, all 3 things. So with your nutrition, tried and tested stuff, but then also have a range of random things. Like, I always take some pear fruit cups, I take some Coke, I take Red Bull, I take lollies, I take chips, I take chocolate biscuits. Do you know what I mean? Just a whole range of anything, because I think it was my 3rd enduro. I ended up, all I was running on was peanut M&Ms and Snickers bars by the end.
Yeah.
And I was just drinking water. That's all I could handle. I couldn't have any like gels anymore or anything like that.
Yeah.
And if I hadn't have had that, I wouldn't have been able to stomach anything. So just be over prepared for everything, I reckon.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. My first enduro, after I pulled out sort of about 3 in the morning, because I had nowhere near enough food, and I was just fucked. And then I drove to Macca's, which is about 45 minutes away in McGrath Hill, and I got like a 24 pack of nuggets at the drive-thru, and I was eating in the car park. And then I decided to take my compression off in the car because I was fucking sore, and I took my compression off and then fell asleep with the car running. And the Macca's chick came out and banged on the window at like 2 hours later. And I was like sitting in my underpants in the car asleep with the nuggets on me. And she's like, "What the fuck?" And I'm like, "Sorry," and then drove off. And I think she reported me to the police.
Enduro just brings the best out in everybody. It's awesome.
Right? Yeah, it's a good time, Andrew. Definitely sign up. Take enough food. And yeah, it'll be a good time. And Martin just said, "Are you still smashing those M&Ms mid-race?"
Just so many M&M questions. Just all the M&Ms.
M&Ms. What is there something going on there, or is that just what you smashed?
Well, so it's just a video that Rena put up for the OCR Team Australia page 2 or 3 years ago, and it would have been 4 a.m. and I'm sitting in this chair. I had all my like frog skin gear on between my laps at enduro. Steam coming off my head, like absolutely delirious. I sound like I'm pissed. I'm speaking that slurred. And Cassie had said to me, "Oh, is there anything you want for this next lap?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, I'd love some M&Ms." Yeah. And then this has just become a thing, like, so at the time, Will was teaching with me. He's jumping on here and chucking in a couple of comments. For the next month, once a week, I'd just have a packet of M&Ms in my pigeonhole at work. Okay. So they were just like, people at work are onto it and stuff too. Like, yeah, it was good.
Become a bit of an inside joke.
Yeah, that's right.
He's going to be there. And is this your mate, Will? Here, Will Jones?
Yeah, that's Will. Yeah.
So he's just asked, what's your favourite non-OCR sporting moment?
Oh, that's a great question.
Do you want to come back?
Well, I was a soccer player before.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe come back. We'll come back to that. Yeah. I'll have. Just
sounded like
I was a soccer player before. I got into.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can go. We can come back to it. It's up to you.
Well, I can't really think of one, to be honest.
Okay. We'll come back to it. I do have a lot of questions. You're doing a bit of, as I said, Zwift. So it's ZWIFT. We were talking about it a little while ago. which is like an online, like indoor cycle trainer thing.
Yeah.
How's that going, man? Are you still hitting that pretty hard?
So when I first got it, like as I said, it was just to build some volume in my training without increased load running. I average probably anywhere between like 50, 60, 70 Ks a week, depending on what my, training is like. And then I was just wanting to do some more cross training without building in more running. And particularly in the winter months where the days are shorter, you can't get outside and go for a bike ride. So I've done some road cycling in the past to cross train and just keep a bit of variety. So I jumped on and bought a trainer and, just thought I'd get into that because I don't think without a digital sort of, platform, I think just sitting there turning the legs over would be pretty hard. It's a good bit of software too. Like you can hook up and it gives you power zones and, you can do like set training sessions and stuff on there too. So at times if I felt too sore to run or I've got a bit of a niggle or something, I'll jump on the bike for a few days until it calms down. So it's been a good thing, good purchase, I reckon. And if you look at, the top guys over in America, Ryan Woods, Ryan Atkins, all those guys, they're jumping on similar type things. Aaron Newell's doing a bit of biking and stuff at the moment. So, yeah, good to build that additional volume if you got the time to get on.
Yeah. Good way to build the aerobic conditioning as well without smashing the joints.
Yeah, that's right.
What's Matt saying here? Really, Matt, Mr. Superman from Feb. Where's Superman in Melbourne with a cap? I have no idea what you're talking about, Matt. And what will it take to beat Lachlan? Pretty close last year. He had one lap on you last year, didn't he?
Yeah, so I think I'm not exactly sure of the timing, but throughout the whole race, he basically had half an hour on me.
Yeah.
And as I was coming in for the last lap, he's figured out the timing and he's decided to go out and do another one because I wouldn't have had enough time to do I think he went out for 15 and I did 14. He's just a machine. I think when you look at enduro and the nature of it and how mentally tough and strong you got to be and the years of conditioning that Lockie's got behind him, he's super hard to beat. And you just look at, we had Trevor Sykos and Chris Mendoza came over and like some real tough competition, and he's at the next level. So for that sort of thing, I think the only thing that can beat Lachlan is Lachlan. I think if he beats himself all time, I think there was a stat out there that he hadn't missed a Spartan podium in 7 years until the Super in Sunny Coast last year, I think. So he's been the top of the sport in Australia since it started, essentially. So yeah, super tough to beat, particularly in anything long. He's got anyone, I reckon.
Well, I think that long distance conditioning, you're going to hold a lot longer, right? Like there's certainly a couple of guys who are real quick, who are a bit older. Tony Curtis is a fucking animal through his age.
Yeah.
But that longer distance conditioning, like you go to like ultra marathons and stuff, and you see like 50-year-old dudes, running around fucking quick.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it's not a super young man's sport. The crazy.
Yeah. But also, like you look at Lockie last year. So he took out the F45 champs, which is a 10-minute workout.
Yeah.
Then he goes and smashes out enduro, and then he finishes in the podium on the national series as well. So, we can't just label him as a long distance competitor. Like he's still got, a massive range.
And I think what I sort of meant was he's got years left in him. Like if you look at that
absolutely, yeah.
stuff, like I reckon he'll stay there for as long as he wants to stay there.
Yeah.
At least until somebody else gets quicker.
Yeah, that's right.
It'll be a fucking good year next year, man. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how all the athletes go, because in a sport where we're sort of hitting events every month, you're sort of staying tuned up all year.
Yeah.
And now you've had a time to have a really good training block, and it's going to be really interesting to see, what people are going to do with that. Like, Liam McKenzie's out there ripping it up on his stories, and I see you ripping it up as well. So I'm pumped to see, man, how the races go when we get back to it.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll be there with my camera.
Yeah.
We've got a few more questions coming in. I might get into some of these. Questions. Benel's saying, afternoon from South Africa. How you doing? Is that one of your mates? I don't know. Benel.
No.
I've got a couple of questions that were rolling in from the IG post.
Yeah, let's do it.
So we're going to get into a few of these because there's some good ones. MRawk 101. If you don't record yourself on a lift, does it even count?
No. Every gym lift must be recorded at all times.
Is that on video or?
Yeah. I don't know. This is like something I have an issue with social media, and the boys know I go on a few rants at times. Like, the fact that everything has to be, a story or a post, or you're updating everyone on your every single run you're doing stuff. Like, that's sort of, I think, where people try to draw motivation or to prove to people that they're improving and stuff. And I don't know, like there's worth in that. And you look at Strava, like people giving kudos to other people and trying to take segments and all that sort of stuff, like that has its part. But if at the base of all that, they're not actually wanting to do it, then that's fundamentally an issue, isn't it? It's like coming back to that motivation I was saying before. Like, if people don't truly want to do it, well, find something else you want to do. Like,
Yeah. Social media is fucking weird, man.
Yeah.
It's weird.
And it's a different time too. Like, we're in a time, as we've said, people don't have events and things to train for. So, I think that's been ramped up, particularly with like the home workout stuff. Like the amount of home workout experts I saw out there that just, it's a bit overwhelming. Let's just say that.
Yeah. I think we're like, you and I around the age we're at are probably the best as far as handling the social media thing, right? Because we're like 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Like we didn't have it, and now we've got it. I think like the really older guys are like, what the fuck's going on? And the younger kids, like, they've only had it, and they're like got all sorts of fucked up like problems. Like, there's some people who've got some serious like, difficulties growing up with social media and always comparing themselves to somebody else, and everything's for the fucking likes.
And you look at like, the amount of students and stuff that we see with mental health issues, and young people in general with mental health issues that can be tied to use of social media, and the exposure to these influencers and stuff they see on Instagram that they think they need to look like, and it's a bit concerning with the way society's going, I reckon. So you got to keep yourself in check, or at least have people around you to keep yourself in check, I reckon.
Man, you always comparing yourself. You're always comparing yourself to like the most amazing fucking 0.01% of people on the planet. The most incredible looking, the most incredibly fit athletes, the fucking dudes who can do the craziest shit. You can find it like, in a second. I'm reading a book at the moment, or listening to an audiobook by a guy called Adam Alter, something like that. It's called Irresistible, and it's all about the tech addiction. So people being addicted to their phones, and man, you'd see heaps of that being a PE teacher.
Yeah, absolutely. And and I think that's why you gotta, and like as I said before, like I have a joke with Cam and Sean, and we have a laugh at each other and poke fun at different things on the Spartan Race Australia page, and like I think it's important to not take things too seriously. Like people are constantly taking things to heart, and if you can't have a laugh at yourself and the people around you, well, when someone else pokes a bit of fun, you're gonna have a hard time accepting that too. So, and that's one thing I reckon I've learned in the last couple of years, is to not take things so seriously all the time.
Definitely, man. That's why I run like dressed as a pineapple and stuff like that, because
Yeah.
I don't take anything seriously. Not saying I'm just laughing at you because you make my day. Seriously, you're hilarious. Thanks for the love. Matty Probe saying, I did some PT with Lockie at Engadine. It was intense. He fucking goes hard.
Yeah. Well, what was the
Contender.
lockdown unbreakable challenge that broke everybody on the Spartan 24/7, where he did odd minute burpees, even minute squats,
Right.
and I got 15 minutes in, and my legs were fried for 3 days.
Yeah, I fucking missed the start of it. I wasn't gonna keep up with you guys anyway, but I missed the start of it and just jumped in like 10 minutes in. But it was like 20 burpees on an odd minute and 40 air squats on an even minute or something like that.
On an even minute, and it was just
an emo.
Yeah.
Going till you can't keep
and up. I think Hunty got about 28 or 30 minutes. Pap got about 32, and Lockie was just going as strong as ever at like 35 minutes.
Yeah,
everyone on the Zoom call is just on the floor, and he's still counting everyone through. And we're like, Lockie, nobody is left. It's just you.
We're going to go have dinner. You talk about that race, the 12-hour enduro where Mackenzie and Danzy finished 10 seconds from each other in a 12-hour race, which is fucking crazy. And Lockie, his grip was fucked, I think. So he came to like the last A-frames, and he couldn't get up the last two, like the pipe and the whatever it is. And he sort of looked and he saw like Liam on the gorilla rings, which is sort of around the back. So you know, Liam's probably a minute or two away. And he's like, he just looked and he's like, sweet. And he touched the obstacle and just ran over and just fucking smashed out his burpees. Like 12 hours into a race, and I reckon he did that set of 30 burpees faster than I could do fucking 30 burpees right now.
So I was there just before Lockie went out for his last lap, and he ran through, and we handed him, you know, I think it was a drink of like Coke and like a gel or something. And I looked at his hands, and he'd ripped all 4 calluses off his hands, and blood was just pouring down his forearm. We just got strapping tape, and we just wrapped them up and just sent him on his way. Like, because it was, I think it was pretty dry, but just those gorilla rings over the course of the day. And that happened to me a couple of years ago at that enduro. Like, I'd ripped out, calluses on my hands, and because there's just so many grip intense obstacles at Raw, that's the problem.
Yeah, we do it every year there, and we do like a pitting service for our athletes and anybody else who wants to do it. And Dominica, my partner in the other room, she just tapes up people's hands like we just bring so much strapping tape for that reason. You just shred them. But yeah, just an incredible contender. Like to see him just smashing out like mechanically quick burpees 12 hours into a race, like fuck, unbelievable. Just going to check some comments. Tony Cox live. We'll catch up on replay later. Matt saying, "How's your family? How's your family in training? I think is everyone good? Everyone's well.
Yeah, everyone's fine. I'm not. I don't live around my family, but they're all doing all right, I think.
Somebody who's anonymous has said, record yourself on a lift. Sorry, I went straight to Matt's selfies in the lift. Oh, how we missed them. I haven't done a lift selfie for a long time because I don't have an elevator anymore. But yeah, that's probably good that I don't have a lift anymore because that was just escalating.
I'll appreciate the pun there too.
Yeah, Matty Probes has said I saw that Lockie kept going and had to stop because they ran out. Yeah, that is talking about.
Yeah, the next group was jumping on the live. They were about to kick him off, and he was still pumping out burpees.
Yeah, it was fucking crazy, man. Such a contender. And Matty Probes has said, how do you go doing OCR in the middle of the night, and how do you recover to have some normality of sleep? So I think, like he's saying, you know, after say a 24-hour event, what's your recovery look like?
Well, I'll start with like my lead up. So I drink a fair bit of coffee and stuff when I'm training. Like I don't use too many like pre-workouts or anything. But with enduro, I'll go probably 2 or 3 weeks without caffeine at all before an event.
Mhm.
So I'll drop off it completely so that when I want to use it in the event, it has a higher effect. So I think last year I got through to 10 p.m. and then I was having caffeine every 2 hours. So basically I think it was every 4 hours, maybe every second lap I was coming in, I was having some caffeine. So whether it was a coffee or a caffeine tab or Red Bull or whatever.
Mhm.
And then that just sort of stimulates you throughout the night. And because you haven't had it you've weaned yourself off it, it has a greater effect.
Definitely.
And obviously, as an ergogenic aid too, like it staves off fatigue and that sort of stuff. I found that more effective, and I've never been tired in enduro, like wanting to sleep type thing. So that's worked for me. And then I think, I don't know if there's an official name for it, but afterwards you sort of get fatigue drunk. So for a week after, you're sort of on this unnatural high where your body's in adrenal fatigue and like everything feels normal and you actually feel not that bad. Like you're a bit sore, but then you think, like I'm recovering really well. But then it takes, like, I feel it takes a probably good 2 months to come back to full capacity again after something like that. And like with my sleep, I don't have any trouble sleeping at all. Usually what I've done the past couple of years is, because it's been a long weekend, I've gone back on the Sunday afternoon, slept the Sunday night, drove 8 hours back to Deniliquin on the Monday, and then worked all week. So because I've been busy, I've had no time to even feel tired. And then for that whole weekend is when I get my recovery in. And then I somewhat feel normal come Monday. So that's sort of, I think keeping yourself busy, but then getting back into routine as quickly as you possibly can in terms of recovery is the best idea.
And you say that you sort of wean yourself off the caffeine. I did something similar the last one because I had previously I'd caffeine too early and you sort of get a bit fucking wired. So the last one I did, I'm like, I'm not hitting the caffeine until like 2 a.m. And it starts midday, so midday to midday. So you've been going for 14 hours. But the same thing, like I didn't have any caffeine for a few days before. And every now and again, like I drink a lot of coffee. You build up a really fast tolerance for coffee, right? So
absolutely.
You need more and more to get an effective dose. So every sort of month or so, I'll usually wean off it for a few days just to let those receptors reset. It's good practice. It's another good thing to do, like if you are somebody who uses like pre-workout, you'll get a similar thing happen. So sometimes what you can do to I guess alleviate and avoid that is buy like 2 different pre-workouts that sort of have different actives and cycle it so that you are sort of letting yourself reset. That can be a good strategy there. If you find you're just going from like 1 scoop to 2 scoops to 3 scoops, you have a really fast tolerance to caffeine. Do you use pre-workout at all, man? I haven't used it for years.
Very rarely. As I said, like I'd just try and go off the. I have like coffee, and actually Sean Campbell got me onto beta alanine. So coffee and beta alanine together before running and gym workouts. So you get like the stimulating effect and like to stave off fatigue, but you don't get that like racing heart. Whereas pre-workout, if you do some high intense stuff, it can end up just making you race and make you feel sick. So that seems to be the winning formula at the moment that I'm on.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, double espressos for days. That's what I'm on.
Sweet. Sweet. Got any more questions rolling in here?
I want to get to some of these IG ones, mate. If they're a bit spicy, we've got to.
There's some funny ones. All right, we had Amy Reynolds ask a couple of good ones. Let's roll into those. Would you rather have glow-in-the-dark nipples or braidable back hair?
Braidable back hair.
Yeah.
Glow in the dark nipples seem okay. Like you wouldn't know otherwise. It's just when
Well, you could get the nipple tape.
That's right.
You could just
Tape
cover
it up, and no one would know. No one would know. Not until night time anyway. So I'd go with that. Braidable back hair is like proper long. Like that's too long.
Yeah. Yeah. I think any body hair that you can braid is probably going to be a bit of an issue. Unless it's a beard.
Yeah, true.
Hell. Moving right along. Thanks, Amy. She did say she was maybe going to jump on the chat. Not sure. I don't know if she's here. Would you rather be, this is another one from Amy, would you rather be constantly itchy or constantly sticky?
Sticky. Itchy's
Why?
tough.
Yeah, itchy's fun.
Well, I don't know. I don't have to deal with the stickiness, whereas the itchy would just be too much.
I can actually answer that because I moved to the Gold Coast and I've got midgy fucking bites all over me. They love me, and itchy's not good. I actually got my housemate. We used to just prank each other mercilessly, and I unscrewed his shower head and put gummy bears in there and then screwed it back. And he took a shower and then he got out and it was sticky, so I got back in the shower. Yeah. So sticky's not too good.
I haven't heard of that one. Well, that's good.
It's good. You're learning here.
That's right.
We're doing good work. Another one from Amy. Would you rather do a race? I think you're learning the trend here too. Would you rather do a race where the obstacles are 100% covered in ants, or the swims have leeches?
Well, it wouldn't take much for me to crush an ant, so I'm going for ants. And I'm super fast through the obstacles, so well, they wouldn't even get anyone near me. Let's go for that.
They wouldn't be able to stick on you.
And leeches would like stick on you after, whereas ants would just fall off.
True.
These are some great hypotheticals, by the way.
Great hypotheticals. Hardy Kiwis, Mr. Andrew Robinson from over in Unzud. He's your photo bomb. It's actually a serious question. We do get those occasionally.
It's my favourite photo bomb. Like one that I'm in, or one that
I don't know.
I guess it's one that I'm in.
Well,
or just in general.
Can I jump in because I've got a photo here that I can bring on screen?
Go for it.
How do you feel about that photo?
Yeah, that's very average, isn't it?
It's yeah, that was the finish line at of the Mankini wave at Marvel earlier in the year.
There's a bit too much information on that one, I reckon.
There's a little bit going on, isn't there?
Yeah. That's just a point for anyone who thinks that skin-coloured tights are a good idea.
They're not.
They are not, and that's the point that proves it. Yeah. And that's a Mankini made out of previous race Spartan headbands, by the way. That's top-notch stuff, held together with safety pins.
That is top-notch stuff, actually. I remember that now. I'd forgotten that, but I remember it. That was pretty cool. What am I going to do with all my Spartan shirts, JP? I've got about fucking 50 of them sitting in the cupboard there, and I'm trying to think of something fun and creative to do with them, and I've got nothing.
Well, I know Sean chucked something up in the group yesterday that he was using his to clean his bike, I think. So, you could probably use a couple that way, a few old ones.
Cool.
You could donate them to, people in need. That would be something nice.
You know what? I've donated clothes, like, I always donate my old clothes to the Smith family and stuff like that. But I've sort of been funny about like Spartan shirts because it's like you sort of earn them,
Yeah. Just shred it then, so no one else can get any of your glory ever.
There's got to be some middle ground there. Because I saw someone. Did you see someone was selling a fucking Spartan medal? People sell Spartan medals on eBay.
That's next level stuff, isn't it?
What is going on there?
Yeah.
So do you have?
I can answer this photobomb question.
Okay.
So it's the only one I can think of because it was actually posted the other day. I think Andrew posted the other day that the start line from Enduro last year, Andrew was there with people he knew, and then I'm in the photo but didn't know him at the time. And now,
That's
like,
so
we've spoken
good.
a fair bit and we've raced against each other and stuff. So it's like, you know, I was like, hey, you're in this photo and I'm in that photo. And yeah, like that was pretty cool. So, you know, just you meet people and whatever. So I guess that's, you know, a photo bomb where we're both involved. So let's go with
That's
that.
awesome. Awesome. He's a
Yeah.
fucking lovely bloke too. Did you catch my my chat with Andrew Robinson?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
The Hardy
He's an
Group?
all-round legend. Like, I think I only met him at Bright last year, and then we raced the Ultra on that weekend. Yeah, real top guy.
Yeah, definitely. We've got a couple more questions rolling in. Nat's talking about OCR, the world's OCR. Yep. Yeah, I did break my leg. I got a fracture in my tibia in that same race Josh is talking about from 2019. The one where Danzy did
2019. That's last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sean Campbell, world's toughest if the US get it together. Are you over there?
Absolutely. Whenever it's on, I'm on. So I've got a bit of a I don't know, bit of a grudge to settle, I reckon. So we had Trevor Psychos come over last year, and he finished third against us at Enduro, and then had a bit of a stab that, you know, our course was a bit easier and conditions weren't as harsh, and that was his bit of his excuse.
Talking a bit of smack. So he said the course was easy and the conditions were easy, and that's why he didn't win.
Yeah, and when Danzy went over and did World's Toughest Mudder, and I think he had food poisoning that he didn't do any good or something.
Yeah.
So I was thinking I was wanting to go over and really, you know, give them a run for their money over there. So it's a bit sad it didn't get up this year, but absolutely when it's on, I'm going to be there for sure.
Yeah, perfect. I'll be joining you too if I can. Ian said, "Did you find love on The Bachelor?" Ian Hayward, he messaged me and said, "You look like the bloke on the Bachelor. I think his name's Lockie." I think I've got the.
I've been sent this a lot of times, mate, from some stock photo that The Bachelor put up that I look like him. Yeah,
JP, is that you? Moonlighting.
It's from a distance. I can. You know, there's some similarities, but I've been sent that too many times. Like, it's pretty funny. Yeah.
Have you found love? Have you found love, JP?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Still looking, mate. Yeah.
Cool. Matty Probe said, "Have you ever missed a spear throw?" And this
comes too many spear throws.
You haven't sparked if you haven't missed a spear throw, but it actually Chelsea, who I haven't heard from for a little while, said, "Josh, have you ever missed a spear throw in a stadium event?"
So this was this year. So I didn't miss it in the race. I missed the one in our party wave. And I'm going to stick by this, that someone else was standing on my rope. So technically didn't miss. Either that or, you know, Brendan Hunt's Mankini was throwing me off. Something like that. I missed anyway.
That's a fucking valid excuse, though. That was a
pretty
terrible Mankini.
That's quite a sight, yeah.
Fair call. Yeah, I think everyone's missed a spear throw, Proby. You haven't raced if you haven't missed a spear. And they can really fuck a race up, can't they? Lots of
especially at Bright 2018 when I was at the finish line.
Yep.
That was pretty rough.
Yeah. And that's just a rough way to lose a race, isn't it? That you've led the whole way, or you've gone so well and then you fucking spray a spear. That's rough. I'm just going to go back to these questions, man. Cara, when are you taking your niece Liv for a run, JP?
Oh, this is killing me. So these guys are in Tamworth,
Yep.
and I'm 10 hours away, and I haven't seen them since Christmas because of all this lockdown and that sort of thing. So hopefully getting back this school holidays, granted I'm allowed to travel. So
Cool.
yeah,
Cool.
because Liv is a little ninja. She's 4 years old and just is mental for climbing stuff and, you know, crazy about all that, and sees, you know, our races and wants to do it and stuff. So I want to take her to a Spartan Kids event. She'd be all around it.
Yeah, that's so good, man. I got my my little godson into his first race at Oberon, and we were doing the Hurricane Heat on the Sunday, and we like got to send them off. But mate, those kids races are just unreal. Seen them all run around.
And just getting kids out and active, and, you know, something different to team sport, and, you know, something to push the boundaries a bit, and yeah, it's really good.
Yeah. And Danielle Wilcock, bit of love coming in, saying, love that comment, Cara. Your niece is gorgeous, Josh. And no fear by the sounds of things, which is good.
Is good. Well, yeah, a bit like me, I think.
A bit crazy.
Yeah.
Sam Marshall said Hamish or Andy.
It's got to be Hamish. Hamish is the bigger character. Fast and loose. It's all about the fast and loose. Yeah.
I agree. A little bit of controversy coming in here from Cam Stewart. Throw me under the bus. How did you?
I was expecting this from him, actually.
How did you feel when the Omar pink team knit shadowed your trademark pink race top? I did apologise about that.
Well, what I was thinking is that you saw how fast I was running, and you just thought must be the pink.
Must be the pink.
You know, that was like my recognisable, you know, race attire, and now I can't find a race photo for the life of me. That's the issue.
That was going to be my question. How do you go finding yourself in photos now?
Yeah.
Because when I first released the jerseys, I'm like, fuck, how good is this? I found all my first photos in like, you know, 5 minutes. Now there's you know, hundreds of members on the team.
Yeah.
I think we had like 60 in the field at Bright.
Yeah.
Finding those photos was a fucking nightmare.
Yeah.
So I do apologise for that.
Well, obviously there's no animosity there because, you know, I actually agreed to chat with you.
There's still banter, which is good. Someone
right.
anonymous has said, how's your ice bath going? Still using your chest freezer?
Oh, I haven't been training and like racing and stuff. I haven't been jumping in it. So I've got the ice bath, like a chest freezer that I was keeping at like 1 or 2 degrees. I think we were talking about it last time, and, you know, I was jumping in that every second day or whatever.
Yeah.
It's been down here. It's been like -2, -3 degrees in the mornings. So it's been cold. It's been cold. But on a weekend, I've been jumping in the river down here that runs through towns. That's sitting about 8 degrees. So it's pretty good for a bit of recovery and stuff. But when the weather gets a bit warmer, I'll get back into it so I'm not freezing too much.
Yeah.
Although that'd be, you know, I guess that's the point, isn't it?
Yeah. I've just joined a gym up at the Goldie EMF. They've got this recovery centre in Narang. So amazing fucking gym. It's like half an old Masters to give you an idea of the size. Like, it's fucking astronomical. And they've got like this whole recovery section with like pools with magnesium chloride, and they've got like cold plunge and hot pools. And it's like, so I finally got on the ice bath train. I'm doing the plunging and in the cold.
Yeah. And your first time is seriously the worst. Like, once you've done it and you realize once that initial shock disappears in the first 5 seconds, it's fine. And then each time you get in, it's not as bad.
Yeah. I've started getting out of the sauna straight into the cold now. So I'll go and like sit in the sauna for 5 minutes, and I might like sit in like a deep fucking like yogi squat stretch for like 5 minutes, and then I'll just jump straight in the cold pool. Yeah, I can get your heart going. Yeah, it's good times.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
I'm gonna do a video, and I think I was probably talking about it last time we chatted about all about ice baths and explaining the pros and the cons and the science and everything. because I get questions about it all the time. Cassie said pink socks.
Always the pink socks.
Always. Are they the 2 times use socks?
No, they're just, I don't know what they are. I've just had them for ages, and they're bulletproof, these things. I've worn them for every race for the past 2 years, and they're still going strong. So, you know, I guess they're the lucky socks, so I'll just stick with them.
Yeah, cool. Mate, have you got a race ritual? Like, is there a pre-race ritual that you do?
Not really. Like, I've just got my set, like, breakfast I would have beforehand. Not so I'll have 2 bananas, one as soon as I get up, one about an hour before the race, and then I'll have a tiny bit of protein powder with oats and water just in a shaker. So most nights before the race, I'm just camping somewhere, so I can't really like cook anything or, you know, make whatever. So I'll just have that in a shaker and just put it down just to get something in the stomach. And then I'll have the banana an hour out. I'll have if the espresso, if the coffee van is already up, I'll have a double shot before, probably half an hour beforehand, before the race. And then just before the race, depending on how long it is, I might smack another gel sort of 10 minutes before. But in terms of a ritual, like, I don't know, like I try and keep it pretty chilled, you know, do your warm up and stuff, but not get too ritualized about it. Yeah.
Have you is there a certain way of eating that you prescribe to or anything? Or do you just sort of eat anything?
No, I pretty much eat mostly fruit and veg, some meat, some dairy, but not heaps. Yeah. So I don't like to restrict it too much. You know, like if I feel like steak, I'll have a steak, but most of the time I don't have it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And I sort of have an 80-20 principle. Eat well 80% of the time. Allow for other stuff 20% of the time. With your training, 80% should be easy, 20% should be hard. Like, that just keeps a balance. I feel like if people go, you know, they're going ketogenic, or they're going, you know, vegan, or they're going this, or they're dropping out carbs, or they're having no sugar, it's just too restricting to be sustainable for someone. So unless they're doing something that they can see themselves doing for the rest of their life, or maybe not doing it right. So like, just balance is important.
100%. Have you read anything from Matt Fitzgerald?
No.
He's written a couple of books. I've got the 80-20 triathlon book to get through. He's a huge big running coach, but he talks all about this 80-20 principle that's you know, really common in endurance racing. But he's also written a book called Diet Cults, which is really good. I've read a couple of his books. But Diet Cults, he talks about like all the different ways of eating and all the different, you know, cults there are, like paleo, fucking vegan, and low carb, high carb, high protein, all that stuff. And he talks about how it's all sort of bullshit. And if you look at the people in the world who are the highest performers, they're like the ultra endurance athletes, and they all sort of eat like you do. You know, they eat mostly fruit and veg, a little bit of meat, you know, a little bit of bad stuff every now and again. They'll have a Coke on a finish line.
Yeah.
But for the most part, they eat. Yeah, and they're the ones who perform the best. Deanna Blake last week answered you know, the question pretty much the same way.
Yeah, and it's just, I don't know, like, if you go out with friends and you want to have a beer, you know what I mean? You can have a beer.
Yeah.
You can get takeout. You know, like, it's not restricting then. But as long as that's not your common diet, like your everyday diet, you know, you're going to be relatively healthy. So
yeah, and it is hard because we're social people with our food, right? That's just how we are in culture. So whenever I see somebody who's started on like the man shake or something like that as a means to lose weight, and you've replaced all your breakfasts with a fucking shake, like, that's going to be great until your friends invite you out for brunch and you're sitting there with your fucking protein shake and they're all smashing their eggs Benedict.
Yeah, and that's the same with, you know, people who intermittent fast. They say, oh, I can't eat before midday. But on a weekend, as you said, if you get invited out to breakfast, you're going to eat breakfast. You're not going to sit there and have nothing. So, I mean, being adaptable, like not labeling it, just helps you to be flexible. Then,
somebody anonymous has just said, do you think with 2020 turning on its head, 2021 might finally be the year that you stop letting old men beat you in the longer enduro races? Surely people have been waiting long enough. I don't know who that was firing shots because they haven't logged in, but it might have even been Mr. Danzy himself.
Could have been.
Comment.
Yeah, it sounds like he's throwing himself under the bus there, I reckon.
Do you reckon
I reckon it might be a conspiracy theory that Lachlan Danzy has made this whole situation just so he didn't lose enduro. I think,
You reckon Danzy started COVID?
Yeah. I reckon we'll throw that one out there.
Cool. There's enough conspiracy theories already, but we could do another one.
Yeah, he just didn't want to lose a race, and the lengths he's gone to,
I'm buying it.
Yeah.
We'll put a we'll put a YouTube comment up. We'll see how many people we can get to believe it. I'm not sure why that comment came up anonymous. I don't know, but that one did too. So tell us who you are.
It'd have to be Danzy for sure,
or somebody else comment. I don't know. If Dominique is still watching, can you repost the comment thing that you log into? That Danzy fucking bench press the E-bus. It's definitely.
So it is locked.
It is Danzy.
Yeah.
And then somebody else is arguing with him who's also a Facebook user. So this is just riveting live TV. Mate, if somebody was looking to do the first events at Spartan Gold Coast, where I think we're about 13 weeks away, if I'm any good at maths, which I'm probably not. First Spartan event, say they want to run their first trifecta weekend or their first beast, how would they get ready?
I think people would have a tendency to probably train too much if they're really committed to do it. So go too hard too often. So I'd be getting in, if they're looking to do a full trifecta, I'd be doing one longer run a week between 60 and 90 minutes. I'll be doing 2 or 3 smaller easy runs, and then I'll be doing some sort of interval session, maybe some sort of hill session, something like that. Do you know what I mean? I don't think, obviously strength is important, but as long as they can hold their own body weight, swing around a bit, it's probably not that important. I think people probably try to place too much importance on things like grip strength. You need a base level of grip strength, but it's not super important. You need to be able to hold your own body weight. You don't need to be able to, do max rep pull-ups with double your body weight or anything. So get the general grip strength up until you can hold your body for the, probably a 30-second dead hang is a good sort of benchmark, I would think. Because there's no time where you're going to have to hold your body weight for any longer than that really in a race. And just some general running conditioning stuff. So do some dedicated running sessions per week, but, and it depends too. If it's their first one, they're just looking to get through it. I'd probably set a goal of saying, well, I want to run everything except for maybe the hills. I'll power hike the hills, but I want to run the rest. I mean, that's generally a good entry level benchmark. Because if you take 6 hours, you can get through super. You know what I mean? You can walk through it, and pretty much anyone, regardless of their training, can get through it if they spend their time tapping out on obstacles and doing burpees and whatever and get their medal at the end. But it'd be worth more if you set yourself a goal of, not stopping through it, or, you want to run in 500-meter blocks, or set a specific thing with that race where, it's going to challenge you, not just completion. I think that's a good one.
Yeah, definitely, man. And you said something interesting there is that you can power hike the hills, and it's something that I see at like the 24-hour enduro. Right at the start line, at the start of the race, there's like a little hill. And the fucking elite dudes will power hike that first hill like 100 meters into a race.
And
it's a long game.
Like you got to understand your own ability too, like, and know what grading it is, how long it is, and whether you're actually if you're going up a hill and you're absolutely busting yourself to get to the top because you're trying to run it, you're gonna have nothing left in the tank to descend, which arguably is more important. Do you know what I mean? And if you're actually power hiking it, you're probably not that much slower. Yeah. So you got to know your tipping point. So for me, if I look at, something that's say 15%, I can probably run that up to, 5 minutes or something like that. If I'm at race pace, whereas I'll drop back and power hike it. Do you know what I mean? So know your own abilities. Jump on the treadmill and play around with the inclines and see what your tipping point is, and get to understand your own pace and your own body so you can make those judgment calls for yourself. That's important too.
Mikey's just asked, what was your first OCR event? How did you find the sport?
I believe my first event was, and I'm pretty sure we touched on this last time, my first event was Tough Bloke Challenge up in Picton.
Yeah, Appin there, was it?
Appin, that's right. So it was I think it was a 7-kilometer event, and it was reasonably sort of, I think it was like a scout camp or something like that. So it had some obstacles that were already set up, but then some other ones put in like sandbag carries and whatever. And I just signed up to it because I saw a poster, on a wall in a shopping center or something. I thought, that looks like good fun. So I jumped in on that, and then I was playing soccer at the time, which is sort of Mikey's next question about, I played soccer for 20 years before I jumped into anything like this. And like, I just went and did this race, and I thought, that was good fun. I think it took me like 40 minutes or so. And then I checked the results at the end, and I finished 4th in the elite wave. And I was having a go, but I didn't realize I was that close to the, to the top 3 or whatever. And I said, maybe this is worth, having a go at. And then I think probably was another 12 months, and I did the same event again. It probably gained a bit of momentum, a bit more popularity then, didn't go as well. But then I didn't really start racing until I was down here in Denny, because there's no soccer team down here, or there wasn't at the time. So I ended up jumping in on, must have been so I did 2 Tough Bloke Challenges. I did 1 Spartan sprint with my mate before his wedding. And then I jumped in on an Ultra Beast down at Lake Dua. It was my second Spartan race. So that was pretty good. Go straight in the deep end.
Straight in, no kissing.
Yeah, that's right.
Which is good. How'd you go at Lake Dua at the Ultra there?
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's a great course down there. Sort of was a bit. I know it's over at Tooradin now, but Lake Dua was a great spot and some good scenery and stuff. I think I ended up maybe in 6th place in that one. I don't think it was a major event or anything, but that's the one that sort of got me into it. And then I think from there I signed up for my first enduro that following year, because the longer stuff I felt was better for me. So
I never raced at Lake Dua. I was thinking about Tooradin, because Tooradin was just a big hot dust bowl, right, when we were there in the start of 2019. And I was just thinking how much of a different course it would be if it rained. Like, it could be.
It would have been horrendous. Yeah, it would have been horrendous.
Mud pit there. So hopefully we get back there in 2021. I think that's Danzy again. If it comes up anonymous, maybe it's a good time to say what I really think. You can say whatever you like, mate.
Yeah.
I don't bring all the comments on screen. Robbie Cardillo, what's your least favorite obstacle in any OCR event, JP?
The one that I hated the most, and this was at Toughest last year, the was it called the Devil's Beard, the long cargo net? You know, you ran up the hill, a long, like it was like a fish net, like a long cargo net,
Oh,
and you had to go under it,
yeah.
and it was just like you constantly tangled in it. And I remember middle of the night, you thought you were going straight, and you'd come out the side, and then you'd have to go back in, and like it was just really, it wasn't tight, so it was just like getting tangled, and that would take me a good like 2 minutes, I reckon. And Rob was doing that event, so he can probably understand how tough that was. That was a nightmare.
Yeah, he's just
He's just come in just terrible. Yeah. Oh,
terrible.
yeah. That was the worst.
You know, Paul was a demon for fucking super tight nets too. Do you remember the one
Yeah.
at the finish line of Bright? I think it was 2018. It was
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
bitch.
It was straight after that spear throw, and it was very, very tight. Yeah. That was pretty rough too.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the heavy nets either. They're just fucking annoying, right? Anyone can get under them, but they just suck. Like,
yeah, but see, like the Spartan style heavy cargo net, that's like I get that, but this little fish net thing that was it was just everything was getting caught in it. It was the most frustrating thing.
I do remember it because I kept coming out the side of it as well.
Yeah, it was the worst.
William James, would you be willing to do endorsements for MnMs?
Absolutely. If they're going to send me free stuff, I'll take it. Don't know if a global company will care about it.
Just start sending you free M&Ms.
Yeah.
I don't know. If you work out how to get it done, you let me know because I want to be in on that game as well.
Yeah. Right.
What's your second least favorite obstacle? Because maybe that's one that a lot of people won't be able to relate to because it was one event specific. What's maybe something a little bit more mainstream?
See, a lot of people would say they hate the spear throw. I don't mind it because there's a skill element to it. You know what I mean? Like, and sometimes it's luck. Like sometimes you get a dodgy spear that pops back out or whatever. But it is a good thing to have in there. So I don't think I'd say that. Like, I don't know, probably one of the ones that is not really an obstacle. Like, I don't know, the fire jump. Like it might look epic in a photo, but it's like, does it really count? I don't know. Yeah, like I like obstacles to be challenging and something that, like, pass or fail type thing, rather than just some token,
it's for the
token
gram,
thing that people have to go around. Yeah,
it's for the gram.
Yeah, I can't really think of too many in Spartan Race that are like super easy. Like the overs and unders, they're good. Or actually, probably for us bigger folk, the Toblerones, like going through them.
Oh, they suck, man. I get jammed in them.
Yeah,
they suck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I don't mind the obstacle of actually going through, but it's like it's a clear disadvantage when we're bigger and we have to get like tightly squeezed through this thing. So maybe that'll be up there.
Don't like tight places. I'm with you. Because you're one of the bigger dudes getting around a course. Have you trimmed up a little bit this year?
I wouldn't have a clue, to be honest. Like, I don't really track weight measurements, that sort of stuff too much. I just think with the endurance stuff I've been doing, I probably have a bit.
You look a bit.
But then also being locked in, probably have too many bakery treats and stuff too. So balance, all that balance.
Yeah. I was going really well. I was getting out on the bike and doing a lot of just slow endurance stuff. But then I stopped for the last 2 or 3 weeks. So I got, business got pretty busy. And now I realize how much food I've been fucking eating. Because it's like the kilos are coming on. As soon as you stop exercising, it's just you're fighting tidal forces, right? My partner's a really good cook too. So she tries to get us fat and then I try to get us fit. So she's
Balance.
winning at the moment.
Balance.
Balance. Cara says that.
Well, I've actually.
What's that?
I've been getting out for a big bike ride every Sunday at the moment. Like out here, it's super flat, so you can get a killer headwind or whatever. But I've been getting out for like 5 or 6 hours doing a bike ride.
Yeah, cool.
So pumping out some endurance stuff and just mixing it up too. Like that's been good. Whereas if you went out for a 6-hour run, like you cop some serious damage the following week. Whereas on the bike, you just don't get the same impact, you know.
Yeah, definitely, man. Definitely. I like slow hikes. Like I'll get out and throw a bit of weight in your back and hit a long hike. I quite like that. But yeah, just the bike's a lot better for impact because you're not just constantly smashing the floor on.
Yeah. But just anything where like your heart rate is elevated for a long period of time, you're going to build that endurance base anyway.
Yeah. Did you say you got into cycling this year?
No, so I've had a road bike since probably 2011.
Okay.
I didn't really use it that much. Like I've done a couple of like I do a bit of training with the kids at school. They train to do the Great Victorian Bike Ride. So I'll do a bit of training with them when they're building up to that. And I actually did the bike ride with them last year along the Great Ocean Road. So that was good with a group of students. So that was good. But as I said, like it wouldn't be more than sort of 30, 40 Ks a week. Whereas at the moment I'm looking at like 100, 200 Ks a week that I'm doing the bike. So.
Cool. Have your quads beefed up?
I don't think so. Yeah.
I noticed it smashes your quads out once you start hitting cycling a lot. Robbie Cardillo said, "Didn't you miss the spear throw on the Mankini wave?" We did cover that. He did. Yes.
Yeah. Regrettably, I missed it.
Yeah. Look, they're sort of right to take the piss out of you there too, because I remember that spear throw, and you could have pretty much just reached out and poked it in.
Well, I still give Sean grief about he missed it in the actual race.
Oh no!
And he was right in the mix, like right next to me, and did not see him again. Like it, game over. Well, in a 25-minute race, if you miss a spear throw, you're done. Yeah. So at least I got the one that was in the race. You know, that's the most important one.
Yeah. Matty Probes is saying her hoist I find is the easiest. Look, it's one of the things that I really love about obstacle racing is it's a pretty good fucking equalizer. You know, Matty, you're a bigger guy. You've probably got a little bit more body weight than some of the other competitors on course, and something that you find easy, which is pulling down that Herc hoist. I know people who just cannot fucking complete it because they just don't have the body weight.
So. And again, like that's something I find easier. But then there's certain things where your size isn't an advantage too. Like, and you look at, I've probably dropped 10 kilos over the last sort of 3 years. Yeah. So your running picks up a fair bit, but then when you go to pick up something heavier, it's slightly harder. But as you said, it's a bit of an equalizer. So you need a well balanced sort of, well balanced strength and running stuff, which is why I love the sport so much too.
Yeah, definitely. All right, this bloke's commented about 4 times here. Say aluminium. Aluminium. How do you say it, man? I say aluminium.
Aluminium. I'll say the same. But I almost don't want to say it because he wants me to say it. So I just might not.
Yeah. Don't. He's just commented it again. I don't know if he's a fucking bot or I don't know. I don't want to have to boot you out, man, but I will.
Who have you got coming into these chats, mate?
I don't know. Somebody, I think I was doing when I was talking to Deanna Blegg, some dude started talking about the Bible in the comments. Started talking about Jesus. And
nice.
Don't know what the fuck's going on here. Think you're on the wrong chat. What race, Robbie Cardillo, what international race would you like to compete in?
I think so. As I said, this year I would have liked to do World's Toughest Mudder. That was were going to be my A race for the year. So that's definitely one. And I think, well, I wanted to go over and do APAC as well. That was on the list, if you can call that international, like Asia Pacific. And then also, like I see Wooly went over and did a High Rocks as well. I wouldn't mind giving that a crack, given the sort of nature of it. You know, blokes like Hunter McIntyre and the bigger guys are doing well, that sort of stuff. So I wouldn't mind giving one of those a crack.
Yeah.
And from what I've heard, it's very brutal.
The High Rocks looks pretty cool too. So is it like 8 kilometers around a track? Eight 1 kilometer runs or something like that, and then like different stations?
Yeah, and then well, there's that, and then there's Deca Fit. I think Deca Fit's
that Yancey Camp started, right?
Yeah. So that's like Spartan's equivalent of High Rocks, but so it's essentially like you do a station, you run a K, you do another station, you repeat until you've finished all stations. So it's got like heavy sled push and pulls, ski erg, wall balls, a big ram. I think they've got one of those. So it's just got like some pretty intense stuff, and that's the one that Hunter McIntyre just absolutely blitzed them and went against 2 CrossFit guys, and they jumped in and out, and they only beat him by like 2 seconds or something. He's just an absolute freak of nature. So,
right.
I reckon I'd give World's Toughest Mudder and then give that a crack.
Yeah. Did you see his Mirth, Hunter?
Yeah.
Fucking animal.
Yeah, man. He's a machine.
I'm just trying to work out how I can. There we go. I was just trying to work out how to ban that dude. Who said it's public, baby? Welcome to the internet. Not anymore, man. You just got banned.
So everybody who's live, take note of that bloke's name. We're going to go and troll him after this. We're going to.
Yeah.
I bet he's got a public profile. We'll find out where he lives and we'll send him all the messages.
Yeah. Go troll someone else.
Yeah.
It's weird too. Like, just keep say aluminum. Yeah, he typed it like 6 times in the comments. It's odd. Maybe it's a weird sex thing. You never know. There's some fucking weird people online.
I knew this was going to go to weird places, but never once did I think that would be one of the weird places it went. But anyway.
All right. What were the weird places you thought it was going to get to?
Well, I was just concerned about some of these questions about the hypotheticals. They're not as bad as I thought they would be.
There was a couple of good ones. It was the couple from Amy Reynolds that I thought were pretty interesting. But we didn't get, I was expecting a little bit more banter, actually. We got a little bit. Mikey asked a question. Mikey Groom, how are you, big fella? What are your benchmarks that you refer to when you're testing? So like time trials. Do you have any like benchmark workout?
I don't really do it too much. Like I look at a lot of my metrics in terms of data.
Okay.
So if I'm doing a long run, I'll just look at what heart rate I'm sitting at, what pace I'm sitting at, and then compare that over time. So I don't necessarily have, a 5K PR, 10K PR, that sort of thing. We've just started doing I've got a 5K track along the river here. We've started doing it once every Saturday morning. So that's a good 5K track that I can compare my time each week. But I don't really have, and I've got a couple of workouts too that I compare the data. I probably wouldn't do them for a month and then I'll compare that data. So one thing's like a session, a 6 by 3 minutes. So 3 minutes as hard as you can, 3 minutes easy. And then you can compare your pace for those 3-minute intervals to see if you're getting faster.
Okay.
So not really I don't really have benchmarks, I guess, but then I compare data across sessions. But I don't get too fixated on either. As long as I can see some level of improvement, I'll just stick to what I'm doing. If I stagnate or plateau or I don't see improvement, then I'll change something.
Sure.
Yeah.
Is there a specific thing that you train for? Like, is there a specific event distance that you're like, this is what I'm fucking aiming for, and if anything else goes well?
No, I like to just be generally ready for anything, sort of. Like if you're looking at, obviously, sorry, when enduro is on the horizon, like obviously everything's geared towards that, so everything's longer and slower and that sort of thing. But I would hope that if I go out and do a 5K, I know I'm probably not as good at a 5K race as I am a ultra marathon, but I would hope that I can do fairly well in both. And I know that's not the way it always works out, but as long as you're identifying a weakness or some area you can improve, and then that's getting better, then you're sort of working towards that anyway.
Yeah, so you're specifically targeting those weaknesses? Like, are you working on your 5K time because your longer stuff's a bit better?
Yeah, for sure. And that's sort of like what I'm doing on the bike at the moment. I get out doing something long during the week. On the weekend. It's so that when I get during the week, I'm not as fatigued, and I can hit some speed sessions and do some hill repeats and stuff like that, things that I want to improve on. Yeah. And I'll generally have sort of in a phase of training, like a 4-week block, I'll have a particular thing that I want to work on. So whether it's speed, whether it's climbing, whether it's, endurance stuff, depending on what it is, that's what I'll have a focus on.
Sure. Cool. Hopefully that answers that, Mikey. Another, excuse me, this time. Another, someone who hasn't logged in. How does training for endurance events differ for, say, a trifecta weekend? Is train for doing the other easier, or are they different approaches? Can you make sense of that question?
So, I mean, with if it's a purely endurance race and the goal is completion, everything can be slow and easy, because nothing in your race is going to be harder than slow and easy. Yeah. If you're looking to do an endurance race, even like an ultra, if you're looking to do that as fast as you possibly can, you need to do some hard training in there. Yeah. And that's like people's idea about doing a marathon is that all of your training should be at your marathon pace, at your marathon heart rate, and then at, in your marathon time or whatever. Like if you don't vary your training, well, you're not actually getting any improvement. So if you spend time doing intervals and doing harder stuff, that easy becomes easier, and then you can run faster for longer. So, sort of a contradiction with endurance training is that everything is long and easy. So sort of comes back to that 80-20 principle or polarized training, that yes, you do 80% of your stuff long and easy, but then you should also be recovered enough if you spend time in doing enough things easy that you can hit your 20% super hard and then get improvements there. So whether it's in lactate tolerance, whether it's in, running under fatigue, whether it's improving your VO2 max, so that you can actually run quicker at your easier pace. And in a race, when you hit a hill or you're trying to break away from someone, that you have that ability there, because you've actually given yourself the stimulus that you need to in order to do that. Yeah. So that would be my advice for both of those things. I would train pretty much exactly the same way, whereas probably for the trifecta stuff, because I want a bit more speed, I'd have a bit more speed focus going into the trifecta weekend. Whereas the endurance, I would have probably more like compromised running stuff. So I do like, lunges and carries and then run fatigued. Yeah. But I would still do it. The effort for both of those things would be the same in terms of how hard they are.
You're just sort of specializing in a slightly different way depending on your goals, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Cool. What obstacle would you, Kara's asked, what obstacle would you like to see over here in Oz? What obstacle would you create? What obstacle would you create if you could? That's a great question.
Well, it took us a very long time to get Twister over here, didn't it? So, and we got to use it once. Was it once?
Now we don't
have
any racing. Thanks, 2020.
at Oberon, and now it's locked down somewhere where no one is using it. What obstacle I like to? I like the OCR Worlds obstacles, and I was sort of hoping last year that when they were affiliated with OCR Worlds that we'd get some newer obstacles at the Enduro. That would have been good. Yeah, like that would have been really good. And I think if I could create an obstacle, something I'd be good at would be good. I wouldn't say obstacles are my strength. Like I can get through them, but I'm not really fast or that agile. So I just sort of struggle my way through and grit my teeth. So
you're just strong and durable, right?
Yeah. Like something maybe like Hercoist or actually I wouldn't mind seeing, the toughest mudder obstacle where they got to get the long pole and put it through the hole and then get the wristband off and bring it back through. And if you touch the side, you get electrocuted. Let's bring that one over.
Fantastic. It's like a big game of fucked up operation where you got to.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And if you hit the side, you get electrocuted. And
I'm all for electrocuting people. I don't think we get electrocuted enough. I think maybe there should be obstacles where there's just blokes with tasers and they just fuck you up if you do the wrong thing. That'd be great.
Yeah.
I don't know how we go getting insurance, but
Yeah, I think it's the only way we can actually get people at races to do their burpees properly is give the marshals tasers.
Chest to floor.
And if someone tries to run off, we tase them. That's
Yeah, more tasers. I like that. I just saw Darren Growler. Is there a wallaby for sale? I don't know. Is there?
I betcha he's mates with the aluminium guy.
He's gone and got his mates. Cara said be like Hunter, biceps win races.
Absolutely. Bulk pony.
Have you been tagged in that biceps? It was originally biceps for Bright, and it was getting around. Spartan Roy, myself, AJ from Melbourne. It was just like a IG story thing, and everyone was doing like bicep curls. Nick Stewart was on board as well.
Yeah, no, I didn't get tagged in it, but
didn't get tagged. Jump on board.
Yeah, I did see a few of them. Yeah,
it was getting loose. Cara said, "I'm all for being a taser marshal."
Absolutely, let's do it.
We've got a problem getting volunteers to races in Australia. I reckon if all of them got a taser, I reckon we'd have too many fucking volunteers. They'd be lining up at the gates. We wouldn't have enough tasers.
Yeah. Or if we're not allowed tasers, maybe that could whip people. But maybe that people might get it. They might get excited by that. Who knows?
The aluminium guy will be back. We did say the chat was going to get fucking weird, and it's happened. What are we, 80 minutes in? I don't know how long we've been going. It got weird. It's just turned into a fucking BDSM race now. Would you like to see our OCR events televised in Oz, or does the secret world make it more fun?
I don't know. It's one of those things like if you and I'm probably a really good example of this because here we're all about AFL and netball and specific team sports. I'm certain that none of my students and very few people in this town actually know what the hell it is that I compete in.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And even though if you know people and you're friends with people, it seems like this big world and everyone should know about it. But then, people say to me, "Oh, how'd your mud run go?" Like they just don't get it. Yeah. So I mean, even though it seems like it's this really popular, massive thing, people know about it, but it's just like any other sport. It's a niche, and if you're in that, you hear about it, and if you're not, you're not. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. I think we were talking about social media. Everything's on social media now. The thing is, you fucking curate your own content, right?
Yeah.
So if I get on Instagram and I go down Instagram and scroll down my Instagram feed, I'm either going to see fucking memes or obstacle racing. That's it.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that I have on my Instagram. Or some like dudes doing backflips and real cool shit.
Yeah.
You curate your own content and you sort of get into this world and you fucking, that's all you see and you think it's everything. But reality is there's probably, 5,000, 3,000, 4,000 dedicated races in Australia.
Yeah. Like it would be
10.
it would be good if, like, even if you look at like Matt B. Davis and what he does with obstacle racing media in America, like if we had someone who was keen enough to do some live coverage, live updates, and you do plenty of stuff, like on stories, but you also racing as well, and you got clients and that sort of thing,
I did. That is sort of where I eventually want to go, more into the media side of things, and I've spoken to Matt from ORM. Funnily enough, Onemoorerep was my business name before I got into obstacle racing, and now like Matt B. Davis does sort of what I do here over in the States, and he's ORM and I'm OMR, and that was an accident.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's sort of where I'm trying to go. Like I'm trying to grow the sport. I'm trying to do grow the media side of things. We'll do what I can anyway, because the more the sport grows, the more events we're going to get. Like the more people know about it, the more population's involved, the more it's going to be supported. When Joe was here, I was lucky enough to walk through Sydney with him, and I did like a live interview with Joe DeCina. And I said to him, man, if you ever fucking bring it over, like if you need someone to interview people on the line, let me know. I'll definitely throw my hand up for that. But I think it's got to get to the point where the population's big enough to support it, right?
Yeah. And like the issue with Australia is we're so far spread, and everyone's got their finger in a dozen different pies because they play team sport and they do all this different stuff, and then there's ninja and there's parkour and there's team sports and there's triathlon and there's marathons and, there's so many things that, like, as I said, it seems like it's a super popular thing, which has gained popularity, but we also don't have huge numbers, compared to some overseas races and stuff.
Yeah. Well, you look at the size of it, the size of the operation in the States, they have more stadium races than we have events. So they had 11 stadium races in 2020 on the calendar. We had 9 total weekend events. So that gives you a bit of an idea of how much big the sport is. Like I think they had something like 40 weekends or something. They had like 10 ultras, 12 ultras or something.
Yeah.
We get to 1. So it is a much bigger operation. So I think what I took away from that is people need to stop fingering so many pies and just come and finger our pie.
You said it, not me.
Cool. That's fine. I told you I'm on a watch list anyway. Maybe a silly question from Matty Probes, but what kind of things helped you come from 5th or 6th onto the podium?
I find luck. So he's asked whether it's hard work or luck or something else. Like no one's, I guess you can have one-off luck, but then also if you're sitting in a position where someone misses a spear throw and you end up on the podium, you have to be good enough to be in that position to get the luck in the first place. Like you have to be good enough to be there. So, people put in hard work, dedication, they train to be the best they can. They're making their own luck, aren't they? Like no one's truly lucky.
I think looking at like Hunty's first podium was when I think Matt, what's his name from
Murphy
missed his spear throw and Hunty got through and got his first podium. That might be luck for that first podium, but he was putting in the work and then stayed there consistently for a long time.
Yeah, so that's right. And to be within 1 or 2 minutes of Matty Murphy in his prime, to be able to pip him at the post that's not luck. Like You know, you have to be good enough to be able to take that spot. So, you know, like, and it comes back to what I said before, like, it's just consistency and wanting to constantly improve and, you know, not getting complacent, I guess. I know some people can think that they're working hard or think that, you know, they're trying hard, and you just need to call yourself on your own bullshit sometimes. And, you know, whether it's with nutrition or training or consistency or sleeping well or whatever it is, like sometimes you just got to call yourself on your own bullshit and do it. And at the moment, like, as I said, I'm not super strict with stuff and probably not training, you know, to your potential and not eating the best I should. But then, you know, a time will come where a race is on the horizon. You go, righto, time to knuckle down, time to get into it, so that on race day you don't have the problem of, oh, I shouldn't have eaten this, or I should have tried a bit harder, or coming up with excuses, because I don't know, excuses are bullshit, really.
Yeah, you reap what you sow, definitely. How many hours, like, realistically, how many hours a week do you think you are training or recovering, you know, including like your long ride, like you're out on the bike for 6 hours, like 6 hours long ride once a week? That's more than some people train all fucking week.
Yeah, well, at the moment, like, what would be, like, in the morning, so I'll start training at 5:30 in the morning, and I'm usually done by 7.
Okay.
But that's, you know, if I'm running, that's a warm up and a cool down. So probably no more than an hour of my main session.
It still all factors in though, man, because those warm ups, those cools downs, like, they're fucking needed, man. If you want longevity and you want to be able to train with consistency, you need to be doing that shit.
Yeah. And like with my strength sessions at the moment, I'm only doing probably 2 45-minute sessions a week. So I do one upper, one lower. And naturally, I hold a bit more muscle than other people, so I try not to do too much stimulus on the strength work. I would say, like, probably minimum 15 hours a week.
What would you say when you're, say, tuning up? So when you're getting serious, when you get a race coming up, would that escalate?
The main thing that would change would be like the quality of the interval work and stuff. So that it's not necessarily duration. If I've got a race coming up, I'm probably not spending 6 hours on a bike or a run. Like, I'd probably turn that into a longer run that might be 2 hours. So I'm not spending as long on it. But then, as I said, I don't want to get too much time into the legs, because when it comes to a Tuesday or a Thursday, I want to do an interval session or a hill session or whatever, then I need to be prepared and ready for that. So your volume might drop back, but the quality of those sessions are better.
And you might shift into a little bit more mobility or a little bit more recovery or something like that.
Yeah, a bit more stretching and stuff. But I'll do, you know, at night when I'm watching Netflix, or, you know, even just doing some schoolwork or whatever, I'll sit on the floor and, you know, put my hips in different positions and chuck a ball under the glute or something. Like, you can stack up and do those sort of things. You know, if I'm talking on the phone or I'm cooking dinner, I can have a mobility ball under the foot. You know, like, you can do those little bits, which will, as you said, they add up as well. So that can, yeah,
definitely. So you're talking, you know, 15 hours a week, and you said that you do two strength sessions a week. Bearing in mind that you've already got the strength, right? You've built that base. Now you're just maintaining. So if somebody was, you know, behind you and they want to get to your level, they have to do more to catch you. You know what I mean? So
like, like, there's not, as I said, with the sport, you don't really need a huge amount of strength. If you can hold your own body weight, you can move yourself around, you can climb a rope, you can pull down a Herc hoist, you've got the grip strength to hold yourself on a wall, you're sort of there. Like, as you said, you just need to maintain it. But there was a time where, as I said, I built up that strength in order to get to where it is now. You know, so my shortcomings in the sport aren't strength based. So it's not where I spend a large amount of my time.
Sure.
Yeah.
Kara's saying you boys are on something new, business ideas. We're still talking about tasing people. Tammy said you wouldn't have enough runners. There'd be more tasers than runners. I agree. I reckon we're on. We might start that. Just come to my house, I'll tase you. Brad said, well said, mate. Brad's group, one of your mates?
Yeah, he's a mate from Denny. One of our one guy on the soccer team, actually.
Cool. William St. Clair says FHRITP. I don't know what that means. Do you know what that means?
No idea.
We're getting a couple of spammers on. I don't know what's going on. They've all come out of the woodwork. Kara's saying, might sound weird, but what do you think about when you race? Is it strategy, next obstacle, burger at the finish line? What's going through?
Depends. So with if it's an enduro, it is I'm breaking down lap by lap. So I might think about, at the end of this lap, I'm going to get a coffee, or at the end of the lap, I'm going to have this food, or, I get to see my pit crew again, something like that. But then within the lap, it's basically what I did with the laps is I broke it down into little segments that I was running certain bits, walking other tiny bits, and just going to the obstacle. So it's like, I just need to get to that. Then I just need to get to that. So it's like micromanaging. Because if you think about a 24-hour race, that is just incomprehensible to think I'm in hour 1 and I've got 23 hours to go. Like, you're just going to overwhelm yourself. So narrowing into the next thing can be really good in a big race like that. And so I try not to focus on the time or how long's left or whatever. I just focus on like the little stuff, or when I'm going to have my next gel, or where I'm going to drink, the bit of whatever I've got, you know what I mean? In a shorter race, like a normal Spartan race, if you're working hard enough, you can't really think of anything.
Yeah.
Like,
just in flow, right?
Yeah, like even at Oberon, that was probably the first race I've had where I wasn't just going full gas the whole time, because it was a bit longer. I was sort of sitting in, and I did think a bit about strategy, and I had Tony Curtis next to me, and he'd pull up and I'd try and put a bit on him, and then he'd come back and then I'd put a bit on him again, and it ended up by the end he sort of couldn't keep up.
And that's probably the Oberon. Did you take?
I got third.
Third.
Yeah.
AJ took it out.
Yeah.
Who was second?
Mackenzie.
Okay.
Yeah, and like they weren't a huge amount in front for the race, but and I'd probably change my training this year a bit to focus a bit more on that interval work and be a bit more specific with my high end stuff. Which has obviously paid dividends for me too, because if you got that bigger high end, then your endurance base is better and your general pace is better too. So,
yeah, cool, man, cool. I've just looked at the time. I realised we've been talking for 2 hours. It's past 10 o'clock, mate. Is there anything you want to end on? Anything you want to plug? We'll give a shout out.
I've got nothing to plug, mate. I've got no. It's just me. I don't have a coach.
You are a coach.
I don't train with anyone. Yeah, but it's just, it's all just me. Just
you can plug your own coaching. I do it all the time.
No, well, like as I said, like I've got a full-time job and I just do it, to help people out if they want a hand. And my sort of mentality is with helping people is that my goal is I want to get them to a point where they don't need me anymore. Like I'm a teacher and my goal is education. Like I don't want to just tell someone what to do. I want to help them get to a point where they understand and they can, get a bit of self-efficacy and that sort of thing. So, but I know Cam and Sean want to throw down a couple of challenges and stuff soon. I think they were looking at the three of us going in a group event somewhere. So maybe people can keep an ear out, and we can throw around some challenges for that sort of stuff.
Let me know, mate. We'll throw them in the fit fam. Gets people involved.
Yeah. Well, I know our one that we did 2 weekends ago was a double brick session. So a 30-minute ride, a 30-minute run times 2.
Okay.
And that was very spicy. That was
Sounds it.
yeah. I went all guns blazing on that, and I pulled up pretty sore. So
nice. All right, mate. Well, yeah. Let us know when the next one is. Lana said, "Who are these hotties?" You've just missed us, Lana. We're about to go.
I've no idea who that is.
All these random people jumping on.
We've got so many fans. This has been an experience.
So many fans.
Yeah.
They missed us talking about nipples and aluminum. All right. It's been a good chat, man. Cheers for chatting as always. It's we've had a couple of people on loving it. So thanks for taking the time. Hopefully I'll see you at the Gold Coast pretty soon.
No worries, mate. My pleasure.
Sweet as. See you, buddy.
Catch you, mate.
So I think we are going, guys. I'm not sure with this new software. It looks like it's closing down.